But I think we're certainly in the early stages of a bull market at this point. Typically the bull market cycle lasts for a certain period after the halving, and so we're still in the early innings. I think there's very stiff inflows from ETFs buying about 2 times the Bitcoin mined per day, MicroStrategy and the other Bitcoin treasury companies buying another 2 times, and the retail buyers and dollar cost average investors. So really there's a lot of inflow.
Gaming's challenge has been that it's a Web 2 business model trying to fit into Web 3 as supposed to be natively Web 3.
Yeah.
So when you go natively Web 3, you start with the NFT, you start with the user that appreciates the property, versus a Web 2 game that tries to obfuscate it, which works from an adoption standpoint, but you don't get the same effect because they don't really understand why they're here. Right? And so here's the thing, a Web 3 user's ARPU is 30, 40, 50x than that of a Web 2 user. Because a Web 2 user in a freemium business model is mostly free. And then, it's a less than 2% conversion rate on average. It's 1.5% as an industry average that converts into paying user. But a true Web 3 user is always a paying user. So that means if you have 100,000 Web 3 users, that's the equivalent of millions and millions of Web 2 users. So there's that aspect that you have to sort of contemplate, that the business models and the thinking is at fault.
Loopscale is a credit platform for the digital economy. We use an order book architecture to power lending against different types of digital assets like stablecoins, tokenized real-world assets, DeFi positions. We've facilitated over $500 million of borrowing volume, and we're built on Solana. And so we're focused on serving both a kind of DeFi retail audience as well as an institutional audience.
We're really excited to announce our partnership with Aptos. And as part of that partnership, we've brought $1 billion of private credit on-chain just in the last few months. Our plan is to get that up to about 10 billion this year. We're growing quickly. Eventually, we're going after the whole $1.7 trillion private credit market. But we're really excited about where we're kicking off.
First profitable quarter, because they moved from on-premise to mostly to the Oracle Cloud. And it was a way for them to really do more and spend less doing it. So what are you going to see? More and more of our customers being incredibly successful, AI infusing everything. Our applications, our Fusion applications, already have over 100, maybe hundreds of AI agents. We don't talk about it that much because they're just been rolled out, and we'll talk about it as our customers go live, and that's going to lead to unbelievable efficiency and just more of the same, just faster.
Henry Ford said, what, you can get a Model T in any color you want as long as it's black, right? Because it was basically, you have one choice. And I feel like where the retailers got smart, and Stacy, my lovely wife, has worked in consumer products for almost 30 years, where the idea that everyone would just over-inventory and then discount, you'd kill margins. COVID changed all that, and you heard me say to Melissa that maybe this Walmart push in the media is an underrated story. I think right up there has to be that some, not all, some management teams have figured out we're not going to discount anymore, and if you want discounts, go somewhere else.
Yes, and also we've gotten so much better at managing inventory. Look at Walmart. Their inventory is up 3% and sales are up 5%. So by nature, they're controlling the controllables. They're not allowing for these big discounts. And also these other brands that we talked about, Tapestry and Ralph, they're pulling back from wholesale. Coach only has 11% exposure now. It's super low. So they're controlling their destiny. Ralph Lauren's been shrinking it. And for the second quarter, they went positive in wholesale for the first time in a very long time. So again, look at these models, how they've changed since COVID, and they have staying power.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Blockstream CEO says that we are in the early stages of a bull market. But guys, really, we're in the early stages of a new digital economy. Remember, this is a plan and moves in phases, and Trump's job is to land us in his fourth industrial revolution. And I've had a lot of people ask me about Web3 tokens. Why are they not moving? Because you're not understanding that this is a plan. NFTs, digital ID, the metaverse, we're still a ways away from that. And if you're young and you're listening, you're in the right place because the sheep have no idea. And then we have DeFi is definitely the new banking. We have loop scale going over lending and the digital economy. And that's exactly what the co-founder stated. And every phase of this legacy market is just turning digital. Remember, they want to turn your life into a video game. And that's the reason why it's so important for you to understand the technology. You don't have to be an expert, but you definitely have to know how to maneuver in this new economy. Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. And we have private credit going on chain. And we know everything is going to be tokenized and put on blockchain. We're seeing it right in front of our eyes, but we know the sheep are asleep. Now we have Oracle CEO on AI and the AI agents. And what did she say? They're not talked about because we know all this technology is behind the curtain. It's ready, guys. All they need is that crisis to bring it all in. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have retailers not giving up those big discounts. And guys, we know that's all due to technology. And anybody who's going inside these stores, either whether you're shopping for clothes or going inside the grocery store, you can clearly see that the supply chain has definitely changed. And because they have all this data, they know what they need to stock up on and they know what they don't need to stock up on because they know what you want to buy. And they know if you want it, you're going to pay the higher price for it. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And if you're old like me, we know how many mom and pops Walmart took out of business because people wanted to save a few pennies. Now those people are wishing those mom and pops were back. Now we have Trump and Elon on Social Security. And Trump says, hey, we're not going to touch it. Of course, we heard from Elon says that debt needs to come down. So therefore, we don't have to touch it. But guys, we know Social Security is definitely going out the window. Why? Because the next generation always pays for the Social Security. If these jobs, as we can see, people getting laid off left and right, and these are the good jobs, those people are not going to be paying in to Social Security. And with these good jobs, they're good paying jobs. So majority of the people are not going to get that type of money again. We can see the job market is tight. But the robots, algorithms, and drones are about to take over this economy and put 60 to 70% of people out of work. And that's the reason why the universal basic income is going to come in and replace that Social Security. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then we have the IRS. Trump stated he wasn't going to touch it. The Commerce Secretary Lucknick says that he wants to get rid of it. But guys, we know the IRS is going on blockchain. You won't have to file anything. They'll be able to automatically take it. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then, of course, we always keep hearing Trump says the golden age. But a lot of people believe the end of democracy is near, the last days. And guys, we know once these machines take over, and we get this metaverse, your life will become a video game. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And there's been plenty of people in history that warned us what was about to come. And of course, when it never comes, people just stop believing. But today, we can clearly see the devil's vision. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then we have the stimulus checks from DOGE, and we know it's all programming for what's to come. Remember, the C word got people into getting this free money with no repercussions. And we know with inflation, they got 100 times back. So, of course, if you allow the government to feed you, they're definitely going to starve you. And that's the reason why you need to make sure you stay in the lab, so therefore you don't fall for the devil's tricks. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
And that is, we don't need a Department of Education. Okay. And what some people are trying to do is stoke fears that, oh my gosh, my kid's not going to get the money for education, or grandma's Social Security and Medicare. This was a big promise of yours on the campaign trail. So I really want to give you both an opportunity to assure the American people you will keep, money will be allocated for students, but with higher standards. For example, I would assume associated with monies given or
just
vouchers.
So much, and then Elon goes, but look, Social Security won't be touched, other than if there's fraud or something, we're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
You don't have to. Now, if there are illegal migrants in the system, we're going to get them out of the system and all of that fraud, but it's not going to be touched.
I want to emphasize to people that this is a very important point. If we don't solve the deficit, there won't be money for medical care. There won't be money for Social Security. We either solve the deficit, or all we'll be doing is paying debt. It's got to be solved, or there's no medical care, there's no Social Security, there's no nothing. It's got to be solved. It's not optional. America will go bankrupt if this is not done. That's why I'm here.
Well, think about it. Donald Trump announces the External Revenue Service, and his goal is very simple. His goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and let all the outsiders pay. I mean, this is someone who is focused on America. Let's drive down our waste, fraud, and abuse. I'll give you an example. Cruise ships. You ever see a cruise ship with an American flag on the back? They have flags of like Liberia or Panama. None of them pay taxes. None of them pay taxes. Every super tanker, none pays taxes. Alcohol, all foreign alcohol, no taxes. This is going to end under Donald Trump, and those taxes are going to be paid, and Americans' tax rates are going to come down. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. Balance our budget and cut our taxes. I mean, imagine a Democratic senator going against that. What planet are these people?
Do you expect to close the IRS, or what are you expecting?
No, I don't expect it, but I think that the Internal Revenue Service will be looked at like everybody else. Just about everybody's going to be looked at. So it's they're doing a hell of a job. It's an amazing job they're doing.
Have you seen not everyone in this country agrees right now that this is the golden age of America, like President Trump says. There are others that think this is the end of days, or we're very close to the end of days of democracy, of the Constitution. They sing songs, they write songs, they demonstrate. I don't know if it's resonating with anyone, except they look at each other maybe, but...
Well, I've always been the mindset in my time in Tallahassee that the people of Florida spend their money better than Tallahassee does, and I've never been a spender. So
you're making an analogy to what they're doing with DOGE right now?
Like a stimulus check, right? Or a refund, or a dividend is what they're calling it. At the same time that we're talking about trying to desperately pay down this enormous debt that we have.
Sure.
Which do you do?
Well, again, I think you're going to see probably one big bill roll out of Congress. That appropriation's not going to take place without a Congress approval on it. Personally, if it's a $5,000 check, I got some heartburn on it. I really would much rather see debt being paid down. I like to see the tax cuts being extended. But look, I've been to the border. The guns, the fentanyl, the human trafficking, that's all real stuff.
Right.
And it's a real problem. And just by the change in the administration right now, there's been a deterrence in place. But, the $5,000 checks, again, I think that's Trump being Trump. Let's throw it at the wall, see if it sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Does it get a fire underneath it?
I called it poop.
Yeah.
I mean, not poop, but instead of saying that the normal colloquialism.
But do you think that your colleagues, that would approve something like that? I mean, it's going to be you would think politically, for some people, it would be very popular to get a $5,000 check. But I would also argue that becomes inflationary. I would love to see the debt get paid down.
Sure.
But I don't know if that, if you could write a check to the American people, and if you could write it with the president's name on it.
Well, what we've done in Florida, because look, we're a sales tax only economy. We leveraged all that funny money we got from the inflationary environment we're in, because our bonds and our debt didn't grow, but we paid it down.
Right.
And so, look, I love what we're doing in Florida, and we were able to leverage the environment we're in right now. But we also been pushing a lot of money back out to our citizens to help them with their insurance rates.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence.
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.